Hello and welcome to another Wednesday Facebook Live and YouTube Live where you can improve your English with Lynne and Craig. And this is the last live we're going to do before the summer break. We're recording this at the end of June 2022. And I don't know about you, Lynne, but I'm quite relieved to be able to have a break over the summer. Not that I don't love the people that join us live to watch us and watch the replay after, but I'm really looking forward to a break. How about you?
Yeah. I mean, I like our little Facebook chats every 2 weeks. You do it every week, of course. But it's true that I've had a really busy, academic year. So I am looking forward to my holidays. I'm not going on holiday straight away. I'm not going on holiday until the end of July. But I think you're going sooner, aren't you? You're going
I
next
am,
week,
yeah.
is it? Next week?
Well, I'm going away very soon. I'm just looking forward to not having, I wouldn't say the word obligation, but just having things in my diary that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And there's
No
like
appointments.
exactly, there's how do you say fetch a top in English? I've forgotten my
No
English.
deadlines.
Deadline. Yeah, deadlines are really
Mhm.
kind of hard during the year.
Uh-huh.
But
Well,
anyway,
if you're forgetting your English, Craig, that's a clear signal that you need a holiday.
yeah, I feel tired. I need to charge my batteries
You
and
do. Mhm.
have a little bit of a rest. Hello, Hema. Good to see you joining us live. Isma, hello, welcome. Heidi,
Hi.
always here from Buenos Aires, Argentina,
Uh-huh.
and Caroline. Good to see
Caroline.
you as well from
Mm.
Alicante. How's the weather in Alicante? I bet it's hot down there. It's
Uh-huh.
hot in
I
Valencia
was
for
down
sure.
there last Sunday, Caroline, in Alicante, and it was really hot.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
So, what are we
Okay.
talking about today?
Well, today we're talking about now. I think we had a misprint before, but it's binomial expressions. That
Fixed
sounds really
expressions.
fixed
Yeah.
expressions, and sometimes in grammar they're called binomial. Now these expressions are very special because basically you just have to remember these two words, but the two words always come in a certain order. So you've got to get them in the right order. And for example, you've put one up there, like for example, pros and cons. We never say cons and pros. We say pros and cons. Pros and cons, maybe you've heard of before. It means advantages and disadvantages. Yeah.
Yep.
What are the
And
what are the pros and cons of things?
an-
Now,
another example
okay.
could be black and white. For example, look at this
Uh-huh.
black and white photograph. We don't say white and black photograph. I don't know if it's the same in your language, but in English, these words follow a particular order. And
Order.
that's
Mhm.
why we're looking at these today, because you can learn idioms and you can try to use idioms in conversation, and that's fantastic. But it's not so easy sometimes to get the context right with idioms, is it, Lynn? Sometimes these
No, no.
binomials are much easier to use in writing and in conversation.
Yeah, that's right. And the thing is, idioms, the problem with idioms sometimes is that when you haven't had a lot of contact in England or an English speaking country or in America or whatever, people use idioms in certain contexts with certain register. So there are certain situations where it's not appropriate to use the idiom. And so they're a bit of I call it a minefield, like a minefield, where the bombs explode. You think you're doing it right, but really you've got it wrong. And so sometimes I advise my students to kind of like understand idioms, but be very careful about trying to use the idiom if they're really not sure of the right context. Now, the expressions that we've chosen today are not really like that, are they, Craig? Because these ones I
No.
think are a lot easier. You can put these in and you sound really natural and really English, as long as, of course, you get them in the right
In the
order.
right order. Yeah,
Yeah,
otherwise it
it is
sounds a bit
important to get it
silly.
in the right order. But from the context, it's pretty straightforward to use these. And you can sound really good in English, quite fluent if you drop these ones in now and again.
So we've divided these expressions into 4 separate groups: positive meanings, negative meanings, similar words,
Uh-huh.
and what was the last one?
some same words.
Same words.
Same words.
Just say a quick hello to people who have joined us just now before we look at the first group. So, hi to Arturo from Honduras. Great to see you. Norma
Hi, Arturo.
and
Norma again.
Christine. Naomi from
Mhm.
Mar del Plata. That's Argentina, isn't it? Mar del Plata.
Uh-huh.
And Nutty is in the UK. Lovely to see so many people
And
joining
Naida,
us.
Naida. I don't know
And
how to say that.
Nada, where are you from,
Right?
Nada? Where are you
Yeah, that's
watching from today? Let us know.
yeah. Hmm. Okay.
So,
So
looking at group one, then, positive meanings. Now, the first one you queried when I sent this to you, Lynn, you said, "Is this like a positive
is
one?
it
It's
positive?
loud." Can you hear me? Okay. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's fantastic. Now that's positive,
Yeah, that's positive.
surely.
Uh-huh.
Now
That is
it
positive.
could be sarcastic, I suppose. There could be
Uh-huh.
another meaning to it, but I think generally it's positive.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So loud and clear. Loud is to do with the volume, and clear is to do with the quality. Is it clear or is it mumbled? Right. So loud and clear is a very emphatic expression, and it means that you're communicating clearly, and the message is super clear, isn't it? I think that's
Yeah.
what it means, loud and clear. But when I queried it with you, Craig, it was because in little family arguments, or well, I'll do it this way. I'll tell you when my daughters are being sarcastic with me. So I'm a mum, and then sometimes mums, we are a little bit like a stuck record, so we repeat ourselves. Like in the olden days, there's lots of young people here, but before CDs, even before Spotify, before Spotify, there were CDs. Before CDs, there were records. And sometimes if they got stuck, you heard the same thing over and over and
A
over
stuck
again.
record.
So
Yeah.
sometimes there's an expression in English and you say, I'm sounding like a stuck record, which means I'm repeating myself. So in my house, sometimes as a mother, it's a natural thing to do. I end up repeating myself and I keep saying, like, have you cleaned your room? Have you cleaned your room? Have you cleaned your room yet? And then repeating it. And then my daughters might say, yes, we heard you loud and clear.
Yeah,
And
that's
they are being
sarcastic.
like a little bit sarcastic back. So this expression loud and clear, it can be used positively, but sometimes it's a little bit sarcastic, and it means you don't have to repeat yourself again because we understood the first time.
Exactly. And then maybe you're on Zoom doing a job interview or speaking in English, and somebody says, "Can you hear me okay?" That's usually the first thing people say when they
Yeah,
connect.
that's right.
Can you see me? Can you hear me? So, yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Or if you're giving a presentation, can you hear me at the back? Yep, we can hear you loud and clear.
Mm-hmm.
That's our first expression. Nice and easy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how did the exam go today? Oh, yeah, it was easy. It was nice and easy.
Nice and easy, which means that it was pleasant, wasn't it? And it wasn't difficult.
And
And
it was nice.
and it was nice. Now, but the word nice also has this idea of emphasizing that it was easy. Another use of nice and easy is sometimes when people are reversing in the car. Have you ever done that? You're reversing maybe into a very tight spot, and somebody might be behind the car trying to help you. And when they want to encourage you to drive or reverse slowly and steadily, right? So not like fast and jerky, but nice and steadily. Then they might say, come on, nice and easy, nice and easy. Yeah, you're getting in, nice and easy. And we often use it in that context, don't we, Craig?
We do, and
Yeah,
it kind of means carefully, because imagine you're
carefully.
carrying a box of something that's easily broken, maybe china or glass, put it down nice and easy. Reverse the car nice and easy. We're really
Like
saying just be
slowly,
careful, take your
steadily.
time,
Uh-huh.
steadily. Exactly.
Yeah.
Do
So
it
there's like
nice and
two
easy.
meanings there, isn't there? One meaning means it was simple, and the other meaning means steadily, slowly, carefully. Nice and easy.
Nice and easy does it.
Mm-hmm.
Our next expressions, talking about houses, probably bedrooms, kitchens, places where you work, your desk, clean and tidy, neat and tidy, and spick and span. They're very similar, aren't they? And they generally mean keep everything clean and keep everything in its place. Don't be
Uh-huh.
messy. Now, my
Mm-hmm.
desk is usually tidy, but it's very rarely clean because there's lots of dust everywhere, and I don't like dusting. So things are dusty, but they are in their correct place. But it needs to be clean and
And
tidy. So I
tidy.
need to clean it. Yeah, it needs to be both, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, I like clean and tidy places. And my mum was very house proud, and her house and was always spick and span. So every time my mother, she doesn't visit me anymore because it's too far for her to come. But when she used to come for a visit, I always had to be extra careful, make sure my house was spick and span so that my mother wouldn't criticize me.
Have you ever said to your daughters, I want your bedroom looking neat and tidy or
Oh,
clean and tidy when I
absolutely.
get back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And usually they're quite good, actually. Often when I've come back from holiday, I've been pleasantly surprised, and I say, "Oh, wow, you've left the house spick and span,"
Well,
which is
I've been to your house a couple of times, and it's always
mhm,
looked neat and tidy and clean and tidy and spick and span
mhm.
for sure. So we're going to look at one more in this group, and then we want you to practice these
And to
by
remember them.
writing
So,
sentences in
uh-huh.
context.
Yeah, and I
So
do hope that you're paying attention because we're going to be testing you all through this lesson.
are you
So,
paying attention,
are you
Erasmo
paying
and
attention?
Makan
Oh,
from
yeah, Erasmo's here. Hi,
Seville?
Erasmo. Macan too.
And Natty, I hope you're paying attention because the
Uh-huh.
last one in this group, the first group, is short and sweet. So his presentation was short and sweet. It wasn't long and it was good. If something's
Mhm.
short and sweet, it doesn't take a long time. It's not overly long and it's very good.
And it's not
And
boring. It's
yeah,
it's pleasant. Short and sweet. And there is another context where I use this a lot. Is sometimes when you make a telephone call to somebody, or maybe you're in a work environment and you're knocking at somebody's office door because you need a word with them, but you know that they're very busy. So sometimes you say to them, "Hi, listen, I'll keep this short and sweet, but I want to know, can you meet me tomorrow?" Okay. So sometimes you say, "I'll keep this short and sweet." You can also say that at the beginning of a presentation, or you can say it on the telephone to somebody, or you can say it to somebody if you interrupt them. Okay. I'll keep it short and sweet, and it means that you're not going to keep the person waiting a long time, or you're not going to disturb them for very long. Mm-hmm.
our next live stream is going to be short and sweet because there isn't really much to say about honest politicians. So our next live stream
Is
is
your
going to
next
be
live stream
short
about honest
and
politicians? So
nah, just an example.
you were
Keep it
giving an example. I'm thinking, oh, there's a new
yeah. The meeting was short and sweet.
short and sweet.
So there we have our first four. Now, can you first of all remember the meanings of these
Oh, don't put them
loud
up.
and
Don't put
clear?
them up.
Oh,
Nice and
oh,
neat. No, no,
sorry,
no, no,
sorry,
no, don't
sorry.
put them up. Right. Because now we're
Okay.
going to test you. Are you
Uh,
ready?
okay.
Right. So I'm going to say the first word and we'll see if you can shout it out. Obviously, we can't hear you because you haven't got the mics on. But anybody who's around you might wonder what you're saying. So I'm going to test you. Loud and come on, Craig. Tell them the answer.
Clear. Clear. Loud and
Loud
clear.
and clear. Okay. Next one. Nice and
Easy.
good. Clean and
Tidy.
good. Spick and
Span.
neat and
Tidy.
tidy. Short and
That's my neighbour moving the chairs upstairs. Can you hear that? Short and sweet.
short and sweet. Short and sweet. Good. Okay. Now, if any of you, I can see that you're all putting them in the chat file. Of course, we don't know because there's a little bit of a delay. We don't know whether you're getting them right or mixing them up. So, to make it clearer, maybe if you like one of those and it's new for you, yeah, maybe you can think of a little sentence and put it in the chat file and we'll have a little look and see if you're using them correctly.
Yeah,
Okay.
use them in context, because when
Use
you
them in
put these
context.
expressions in context, we can tell you if you're using these expressions correctly, or maybe you perhaps have misunderstood the meaning. So put them in a sentence, write a sentence in the chat, and we'll give you some help and some
We'll
feedback.
give you some feedback as we're seeing them. Okay. Right. Once more. I'm going to test again. Take that off, Craig. But let's go very fast now. Okay. Short and.
Do you want me to say it?
I want you to say it.
Okay.
You don't have to wait long. All right. Short and.
Sweet.
Loud and.
Clear.
Spick and.
Span.
Clean and.
Tidy.
Neat and.
Tidy.
Spick and.
Span.
Good.
Yep.
Well done,
Okay.
Craig. Gold
Thank you.
star for you. Gold
Thank
star.
you.
We'll give you 10 out of 10.
Can I level up? Can I move on to the next level in this
Next
game?
Group 2.
Okay. Now we're moving from positive expressions to negative meanings. Now we use these binomial expressions often when we are describing or talking about negative things. Now, if a person has maybe lost a lot of weight recently and they're not looking particularly healthy, you could say, "Oh, look at that poor man over there. He's all skin and bones." So we don't say bones and skin. I don't know why, but the order of this expression with all of these expressions is fixed. We say skin and bones, and it's negative. If someone is too thin, they're too slim, they've lost too much weight, we say, "Oh, they are all skin and bones." And we say all, don't we? We say they're all skin and bones.
All skin and bones.
Yeah, there's nothing of them. They're skin and bones. They've lost too much
And we
weight.
can use that also not just of people, but also animals. You know, sometimes you see animals and you say, "Oh, look at that dog. It's all skin and bones." And it means it's very, very thin.
I went to India when I was in my early 20s, and I came back from India all skin and bones because I didn't eat much. I was on a very, very strict budget. I didn't have much money. So I only had one meal a day, just some rice and vegetables. And I came back, I'd lost a lot of weight, and I was all skin and bones.
That happened to me too when I first went to live in Africa. And but it was because I didn't know, I couldn't cook for myself in Africa because there was no electricity and there was no refrigeration. So if you wanted to eat chicken, you had to buy a live chicken and kill it. And I didn't know how to do that, nor do I think I could do it. And there weren't supermarkets, and I found it really difficult at first, actually, just to feed myself. And within the first month as well, I was a bit skin and bones. And it wasn't because there wasn't food. There was food, but it's because I didn't know how to I was used, of course, here to going to the supermarket and buying pasta and buying this and that. And because it was different types of food on offer, and it was really crazy, but I just didn't know how to cook for myself.
Yeah, no, I've been in a
So
few
I became
supermarkets in
skin and
Africa.
bones.
It's difficult to know what to buy. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. We've got some comments coming in. Francisco says that he used to tell his children to keep their room clean and tidy. Very well done.
Uh-huh.
Francisco, that is a perfect use of that expression. And
Uh-huh.
Caroline says, are they informal? I'd say they're neutral. I don't think they're
Mhm.
particularly informal.
Well,
They're
stick
definitely
and
not
bones
formal, are
maybe is
they?
a bit informal, but nice and easy, spick and span. They're very neutral ones. Loud and
Yeah.
clear, absolutely. Could be formal too. Uh-huh.
Hmm.
But it's true that you don't see them so often in writing. Yeah, you'll see them in novels, maybe because it will be in spoken English, but they are very common in spoken English rather than written English, I think.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Eduardo's saying that we usually have a personal story. Yeah, that's because that's because I'm old, Eduardo, and when you get
And
old,
me, we're
Eduardo,
the same age.
well, no, when you get old, you do tend to collect some stories.
Stories.
And another thing you do when you get old is you start making noises when you get up from a chair and when you sit down in a chair or on the sofa. I don't know if you've got experience of this, Lynn, but I
I think
started
that's very
when I.
man, actually. That's very male. They're
But you know
called
why we? You
That's
know
called
why?
man size.
No,
We
that's
call them
called.
man
It's
size.
called aches. It's called aches and pains. When I get up and I
Aches
go,
and pains.
"Ugh," when I get up and I sit down, I, ugh.
Ooh.
So these sounds that I make is because my body, I've got aches and pains. So again, that's another fixed expression, and that just means parts of your body is bothering you a little bit. There's a little bit of maybe bone degradation going on. You're kind of
Mm.
feeling some of the aches and pains in your body because of your age. Yeah.
Mhm. And an ache, if people don't know, it's a strange pronunciation, ache, and the spelling is a bit strange, isn't it? An ache, we have the two words. The two words exist separately. A pain is often a momentary feeling, a pain. But a one that is over a longer period, it's still a pain, but it's over a longer period, that's usually described as an ache. So, of course, you've heard of the word headache because it's constantly there, or stomach ache because you've got a pain that's been going on for some minutes, hours, yeah, days in the worst case. Whereas a pain can be a sudden, sharp pain. It comes, it's a feeling, and then it goes away. And then in this expression, aches and pains means it doesn't matter how long, you've got them all the time.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Yeah, you've got
Yeah.
them all the time.
Aches and pains.
Aches and pains. Okay, next one, the next negative one.
Well, sick and tired. Now, sick, it's not
Mhm.
physically sick. It's just when you get those two words together as a fixed expression, it just kind of means you're fed up. You've had enough. You're up to here. If you are a Spanish speaker, it means harto.
Mhm.
It's too much. I'm sick and tired of the noise my neighbors make every morning at 6 o'clock, for
Mhm.
example.
Means you
Um,
can't stand it anymore. You've
yeah,
had enough,
no
you want
puedo
it.
soportar.
You can't bear it anymore. You can't tolerate it. Sick and tired. Okay. And the last negative one.
And the last one, wear and tear. Now, the
Where?
pronunciation might be a bit tricky here. Think of the or focus on the vowel sounds, because even though we've got an E and an A in both words, the it is the same sound here,
This
isn't
one
it?
is the same
It is
sound,
the same sound.
but the
It's
word
air,
air,
wear and
but
tear,
wear and tear. But the word tear, that same spelling, has another meaning, tear, but it has
which
a
is a
different
different sound. Yeah.
pronunciation, but it has the same spelling. Tear is the water that comes out of your eyes, but tear is when you do this. When you tear a piece of paper. Now, this expression, wear and tear, refers to if you have something and you use it a lot, then it gets old and it starts to degrade. So the quality gets less and it gets a little bit worn. So this can happen, for example, with clothes. If you wear them a lot, then gradually they start to, maybe the color fades, maybe you start to get little holes in the fabric. Okay, so it can apply to clothes, but it can also apply to electric appliances. So if you've had a washing machine for a long time, maybe the knobs on the washing machine don't work quite as well. Maybe the door doesn't close as well as it did when it was new. Now, all of those things are wear and tear, because through the usage or the life cycle of your product, it has begun to get damaged or has little tiny defects.
I'm
Wear and
noticing
tear.
I'm noticing the wear and tear on my car because it's 10 years old now, and
Mm.
I just had it serviced. I had an
Mhm.
MOT and a service, and yeah, there were things that were wearing on my
Uh-huh.
car, so I can notice the wear and tear on the engine, on the brakes, on the bodywork of the car because it's old, and with
Mhm.
time, the wear and tear of the years is noticeable.
Mhm. And often you see those words in insurance policies or guarantees, because sometimes they will guarantee your product for 5 years. But then if you read the small print, it says normal wear and tear is not included. So, for example, I don't know, if you have maybe a sofa and it's guaranteed for 5 years, maybe the fact that the cushions get softer, that you can't claim on your guarantee. If it
Yeah.
completely breaks, then maybe you can claim on the guarantee. But wear and tear is natural usage or natural wastage. That's not covered in the guarantee.
Maybe it's the wear and tear on my body that's causing all the aches and pains I'm experiencing.
It could be.
Yeah, there you
Maybe you
go.
need to eat more and stop being skin and bones.
I wish I was skin and bones. Right, are we going to
We're going to
go
test now. We're going
going
to
to
test now.
test?
Are we
So, okay.
ready to test? Right. Are you ready, everybody? Sick and
Tired.
Mhm. Skin and
Bones. Remember, you have to
Mhm.
shout these words out
They
before I
are, I'm
do.
sure. I can hear the world
I can
moving.
hear you from Valencia shouting. I can hear Heidi in Buenos Aires shouting out, "Bones,
Oh,
bones."
it's right. Aches and
Pains.
Mhm. Wear and
Tear.
good. Wear and tear.
Wear and
Great.
tear.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, again, if you want to try to put things in context, you can do. While you're doing that, maybe we can give some feedback on the ones that came before, Craig, because there were some people who had put them in sentences and asked us if they were right. Nancy?
She puts the
Mhm.
vase nice and easy on the table.
She put the vase, if you were talking in the past tense, she put the vase nice and easy on the table. If you're describing the manner that she put it down, then it's
Yeah,
correct.
that's okay.
Uh-huh.
She
But
put
I
the
think
vase
you don't,
down
you've
nice
used
and
Nancy
easy.
there, you use present simple, puts. And if you say puts, that means she always puts. I don't think that's what you meant. I think you were trying to use the past tense. She put the vase nice and easy on the table, which is describing how she put it on the table. That one would be correct. Okay.
And those animals in Africa, yes, some of them, unfortunately, because of lack of water, Erasmo, I'm
Yeah.
sure you know that they are skin and bones. They're
Yeah.
suffering a drought, which is a
Hmm.
lack of water at the moment,
Yeah.
which
And
is
they're
very sad
often
to see.
skin and bones. Yeah, that's
Where
true.
did you live in Africa, Lynn?
I lived in Guinea-Bissau, which is in West Africa. Which is in West
Okay.
Africa. And Francisco said, and she did that right, I used to tell my children. Can you get that one?
I can't see
It's
that one.
above
Oh,
The
yeah, got
other,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to tell my children to keep their room clean and tidy. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Good
Now,
job,
um,
Francisco.
the only problem there is with use, Francisco, because you've made a mistake there. If you want to use it in the past, like a past habit, maybe your children are grown up now, then you have to have a D on that use. I used to tell my children to keep their room clean and tidy. If you're still doing this, then what you need there is not the word use, you need the word usually. I usually tell my children to keep their rooms clean and tidy. Okay, so be careful,
Mhm.
because that I use is often a mistake that people make, right? You
Yeah.
either have to have a D on it and you're talking about a habit in the past, or if you're talking about a present habit, then we say I usually tell. Mhm.
So we don't really know, Francisco, if your children are now older and more responsible and always leave their room clean and tidy, in which case it's used to,
True.
or maybe they've flown the nest, in which
Uh-huh.
case it's also they used to when they were younger. So we don't know.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
and
Have we got any?
Nancy,
Uh-huh.
yeah, one more is
Okay.
wear. Does that come from wearing? It's the same word, but it's a different use of the word. It's a different meaning.
Uh-huh.
When you wear clothes, you put them on your body. I'm
Uh-huh.
wearing one of my favorite summer Hawaiian shirts tonight
Uh-huh.
in
Uh-huh.
celebration of the impending holiday that I'm about to go on. But when something wears, when a thing wears, then it it becomes older with use.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it degrades. It's not
Mhm.
new anymore. It's not
Mhm.
as good as it was when you bought it. So
Uh-huh.
things wear with time, they
Uh-huh.
degrade.
We actually also, Nancy, you might hear it more in that sense that Craig's just described as a phrasal verb, to wear out. So when something is worn out, it means it's degraded.
But
Uh-huh.
completely, that out with that
Completely
phrasal
worn
verb
out.
means
Uh-huh.
means completion.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
It means completion with the
And
out.
Francisco says, yes, the children are older but not responsible yet.
Okay,
Well,
then you have to say, I usually tell my
they usually tell,
then
yeah.
you need usually, Francisco.
Yeah, so it's happening now. It's not in the past.
Okay. I think
Group
I'm gonna
3.
nobody else has written anything yet. So I'm gonna test you one last time before we go to
Oh, okay.
the next thing, right? Skin and
Bones,
aches and
pains,
sick and
tired.
and wear and
You know this one. Tear.
tear. Okay, just to see if you're still on your toes, I'm going to do the other two groups as well. Just to keep you running. Are
What
you
does on
ready,
your
Craig?
what does on your toes mean?
Keep you on your toes means keep you alert, keep you paying attention, keep you on your toes. Your toes are the fingers on your feet. Yeah, to keep you on your toes, right? Are you ready? Right?
No,
Nice and
I'm not on my toes. Are we
well,
going back to
I'm
Okay,
going
go,
back to
go,
all of
go,
them. Nice
go.
and
Nice and easy,
clean and
tidy,
short and
fat.
loud and
It wasn't short and fat, was it?
no, it
What
was
did you say?
short and
Short and
sweet.
sweet. Short and sweet. Short
Why
and
did you
fat.
think it was short and
I
fat? I
don't
hope you
know.
weren't looking at me.
No, I don't know where that came from. Short and sweet. What was the
Short
next
and
one?
sweet. Okay. Spick
Span.
uh and aches and
Pains.
skin and
Bones.
sick
Tired.
and wear and
Tear.
good. Right. I'm
So,
presuming you all got that right out there. Well done.
yeah. Eduardo says, do we agree that the body wear and tear
Mhm.
explains the aches and pains? I definitely can relate to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
With
yeah.
the
Yeah,
years,
yeah.
Eduardo, yeah, with the wear and tear on the body. And the strange thing is, in my experience, many people take more care of things like their car than they do their own body. They clean their car, they service their car, they change the tires, they change the oil, but we don't really pay much attention sometimes to what we put in our body and how we take care of our body. And with the years, there is wear and tear on our body, on our bones, on our organs. Exactly.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Right. Let's move on to group 3,
Mhm.
which is about
Similar sounds.
similar sound.
Similar words. Similar words.
Similar
Uh-huh.
words. Similar
So
words.
these have actually the same meaning, and we use them doubled up to add emphasis, really. Okay.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
So here we've got the first
Safe and
one,
sound.
safe and sound. And if you're
We've
safe
arrived
and
safe and
sound,
sound.
uh-huh,
Mhm.
and it means that you're completely out of danger. And sound, if you are sound, it means that you are intact, that nothing's
Complete. Yeah.
damaged, you're complete. So safe and sound means that you're out of danger. Uh-huh.
When I go and visit my sister, she lives about 2 hours drive from Valencia. So she always says to me, when you get home, text me a message and let me know you arrived okay. So I always say, hello, Steph. I arrived safe and sound.
Mm-hmm.
Craig. So
Mm-hmm.
I arrived safe and sound. I'm in one piece. I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay. There's no problem, and I'm safe. Yeah.
And my mum used to always say, did you get back safe and sound? Did you get back safe and sound? Have you arrived or did you get back? Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay. I think this is the next one is something that Lynn and I are looking forward to when we have our summer break, and that's some peace and quiet. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Uh-huh. Although, my holidays, I like adventure holidays, really.
Oh, this year I just want some peace and quiet. I just want
Uh-huh.
to
I,
relax.
I want peace and quiet from work, but I like activity. So I'll probably be having activity, but it'll be a different type of things. But sometimes it's nice to have peace and quiet. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And peace, obviously, I think most people know peace, peace man, isn't it? Peace is like no noise. You want it to be very calm, very tranquil, no noise, some peace and quiet. And actually, this phrase I've heard, have you heard, Craig, that some people say, I want a bit of P and Q?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that
So
common, but I've heard it.
I've heard it. So some people don't actually say peace and quiet. They just say the first letter. I want some P and Q. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And it means calm. Uh-huh.
Yeah, as Francisco said, yeah, it means calm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, what do you do when you need some peace and quiet? Is there a place you go? Is there a thing you do? Do you listen to music? Do you go out for a long walk? What do you do? Do you read when you want some peace and quiet? Is there anything
I think
specific?
for me, I think probably I would go out because the thing is, we've got a big household here with there's 5 of us that live together. So if you want peace and quiet, you have to leave.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you do?
I've been trying to meditate recently. I used to meditate years ago, and I
Uh-huh.
got out of the habit, and I find a quiet place, and I've been trying to meditate. I'm finding it quite difficult to get to
Mhm.
that level of peace and quiet that I'm looking for, but I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to persist
Or
and keep
maybe when
looking
you're
for
on
that.
holiday, maybe you
Maybe.
can. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Christine's recently learned 2 of these fixed expressions, ebb and
Mm.
flow, which is
Oh,
nice,
that's nice.
connected to the sea because the tide, marea in Spanish, the tide comes in, the sea goes out. That's called the tide.
Uh-huh.
And it's connected to the moon. So the ebb comes in and the flow goes out. Is that right? Ebb and flow,
Ebb and
in and
flow. I
out.
think so. In and out.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And what's happening to me at night quite a lot is I'm tossing and turning in bed because I haven't found that peace and quiet I'm looking for. So if you toss and turn in bed, you're constantly moving. You can't relax. You can't settle.
Uh-huh.
You can't
Toss is
be
like
at
that
peace.
movement, isn't it? It's like
Yeah,
a toss is like that. Uh-huh.
yeah.
And so
Tossing and
toss and
turning.
turn. Uh-huh.
So well done, Christine. Both of those expressions are fixed and they're
Excellent.
quite fairly common.
Uh-huh.
Um, Hecho girones. That's a new one for me, Heidi. Thank you
Oh,
for
I've never heard
introducing
that,
that.
Heidi. I
It
never
may
heard
be
that.
an
Oh,
Argentinian Spanish
ah,
expression.
hecho
Tu camisa
girones.
está hecho girones.
Oh, uh-huh.
It's suffering from wear and tear.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Where were
The
we?
next one
Oh,
we just did toss and no, we did peace and
peace and
quiet.
quiet.
Mhm.
So when you are on holiday, on your activity holidays, Lynn, do you tend to get up bright and early, or do you lay in bed late and get up late?
Somewhere in the middle. Usually when I'm working, I am up bright and early every morning. Now, early, obviously early in the day, so not late. I get up about 6:45, yeah.
Well,
And I'm a morning person. So usually when I get up, I'm quite optimistic as well. I usually am quite bright. And bright means like it's got that optimistic touch to it, hasn't it? When we say bright and early. So when we say bright and early, it means, please, can you get up early and be in a good mood? So we say, right, tomorrow we're going to start bright and early. I want everybody here at 9 o'clock, for example. So
yeah,
when we use that expression bright and early, we mean early in the day. And we also have a feeling of you have to be in a good mood.
exactly. And
Yeah.
bright, of course, is the opposite to dull. You can have a bright
Yeah.
light that's in your eyes and almost blinds you. It's very bright. The sun is very bright. But when you
Hmm.
put on sunglasses, then you dull the light so it's not so bright. So it's a very
So,
positive, very happy word, bright and
yeah.
early.
Do you get up bright and early on holiday?
No.
No.
Um, I don't. I like to get up late and relaxed.
Yeah, me.
Although
I mean,
although I don't always have the choice though. I mean, if it's
mm.
a holiday where there's an activity to do, then I have to get up early, but I'm not always bright when I do it. So I'm not an early bird for sure.
You're
I
not
don't
an
like
early
getting
bird.
up early, but I do when I have to.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Okay.
next one, bits and
This is.
pieces
Mhm.
or odds and
And
ends.
ends. So
Um,
these are things that are unimportant, aren't they? So they could you can use this to refer to objects, or you can use it to refer to tasks. So things you have to do. So I might say, but usually it's like unimportant, unconnected things, random things. So, for example, Craig might say to me, "Have you been busy today?" And I'll say, "Oh, I was doing a few bits and pieces." Uh-huh. Which means I was doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but nothing like not a main project. I was doing lots of bits and pieces. Or or I can also say odds and ends. I was doing lots of odds and ends. Is that a
so you
good
yeah,
definition, Craig, or
I've
would
got
you say something
no,
else?
no, perfect. I've got one or two more examples
Hmm.
to add some more examples. You could say if you break a glass and it falls on the floor, you can say there, be careful, there are bits and pieces of glass all
Hmm.
over the floor. You can also give somebody some bits and pieces of information.
Hmm.
There can be some odds and ends in the fridge, like food. Maybe you
Hmm.
should eat the odds and ends before you go on
Hmm.
holiday, finish off the food.
Hmm.
I bought some batteries, I bought a memory card, and a few other odds and ends for the trip.
Hmm.
So bits and
Hmm.
pieces, odds and ends, the
Bits and
extra
pieces.
things, the little things that you don't need to specify.
And they're not really joined. So, for example, you can also say for a meal, or what should we eat tonight? Or let's just have some bits and pieces. And that means that you're not having like a meal, you're not having a specific meal like spaghetti bolognese or a lasagna. You're just going to have maybe a bit of cheese and a bit of bread and a bit of ham, just anything that you find in the fridge.
There's a similar expression that I'll
So,
put in the chat, and it's very similar. It's bits and bobs. You
yeah.
might hear that. It's very similar. Bits and
Uh-huh.
bobs, odds and ends, very similar expressions.
Bits and pieces. Right, Craig, you test me now this time on this one. Go on.
Okay. Safe and
Sound.
peace and
quiet,
bright and
early,
bits and
pieces.
odds and
Well, that's easy because you still got it on the screen.
ends.
Ends. He's not good at testing you, is he? He's not an examiner, is our Craig?
I didn't realize. I hope you got that. We will be testing you again at the end. Remember, write sentences, practice this vocabulary. If you see expressions that you like that maybe are new for you or that you'd forgotten and you don't use, they're not in your vocabulary, make sure you put them in your vocabulary if you like them, if you like the sound of them, and try to incorporate them, put them in your English lexicon, in your vocabulary.
Yeah, and they definitely make you sound English now. When people say things like this, they sound really fluent. I think when my students say these kind of things, I love it because they sound really fluent.
Yeah.
Right, the very last group then.
The
now,
last
yeah?
group,
The
group
last
4, these words are the same, so they're very easy to remember. The testing part of this is going to be very
It's going to
easy for
fail,
you.
isn't it?
If anyone fails this, then you need to go back to the drawing board. Craig and Lynn, they go on and on. They don't stop talking. And this often goes with droning. There's a verb to drone, which is if you've ever been to a university lecture or you've heard a presentation that's really, really boring, you can say, oh, the professor or the teacher just went on and on and on about the same thing, and he or she was droning on about. So it's this idea of boring repetition, to go on and on about something, to keep on repeating and saying the same thing.
And the opposite of on and on, of course, is, will you stop going on and on? Can you not keep it
to yourself?
Short and sweet. Craig,
Oh,
wake up. Wake up.
I missed that opportunity, didn't I? Short and sweet.
He missed it. I hope somebody is paying attention to me out there and got that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was too slow off the mark.
The
there,
opposite of going on and on is
short
to keep it short and sweet.
Yeah. Question from Nancy. I think I need holidays soon for. We can improve that a little. A bit of peace and quiet. A bit of. Yeah, is better than a while. So to get some peace and quiet, or a bit of peace and quiet.
That's right, Nancy. I need a bit of peace and quiet. Are there any
Perfect. Well
leftovers?
done, Eduardo. Yeah, sure. You've got some odds and ends in the fridge. There's some bits and pieces left from dinner yesterday. Go and eat them. Yeah. Good. Good example, Eduardo.
Okay.
Now, we're learning English, and I know you have to take it day by day, or even step by step, or little by little. So poco poco, if you're a Spanish speaker.
There's 3 there, isn't it? Step by step.
Very similar. They're very similar. Yeah.
Little by little and
piece
day by day.
Yeah.
Piece by piece.
And
yeah, we've got
the same words are repeated. So yeah, keep going. Slow and steady wins the race. Keep incorporating words into your vocabulary, and step by step, you'll be a very good English speaker.
Okay.
2 more to go. Face to face.
All right, face to face. Now, face to face. Well, are we face to face? We have to look at this way, don't we? To look at me. Face. No, other way. That way. There we are.
It's the opposite.
It's very difficult, guys, for us to do this because we point the wrong way. So face to face is you in person, basically. So nowadays I'm an online teacher exclusively, and I don't do any face-to-face classes anymore. Face-to-face classes were when I was in the classroom and I could touch my students, but now I can't touch you. I can't get you, Craig. Reality.
No.
Can't touch you out there. No. So unfortunately, we're doing remote classes now. Well, fortunately and unfortunately, I enjoy the remote classes. I think my
Yeah, me
students do
too. But
too.
there is something about face-to-face teaching when you're in person with a student.
Mm,
There's this dynamic in the classroom, and the students are interacting with one
mm,
another, and they can do board work activities and mingle and do group work and pair work. So there's something quite dynamic about face-to-face teaching that I miss. But as Lynn said,
uh,
teaching on the internet, as we both do now, has its advantages as well.
mhm.
So
But I
I
think
do
that
miss.
because I most of my students, the majority, I only teach 1-to-1, which means I only have one student.
Right.
And so I think online that can be really, really beneficial because it's very intense.
Yeah.
Um, but I agree with you. When I have a group, um, I feel I'm better in person because you get more dynamism going as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're face to face.
So yeah, you can have a face-to-face meeting. You can have face-to-face English classes, face-to-face lessons, um, in
Jaime's just put
person.
something. If you can flash up Jaime's little comment there, he's given it good. That's another expression which means face to face, in the flesh.
In the
Mhm.
flesh.
In
Yeah.
the flesh, that's right. It's not a binomial like we're talking about, but it means exactly that. Jaime, well done.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the last one we have is arm in arm. So obviously this is your hand, this is your arm, and if you walk with someone arm in arm, then you link or connect arms together. For example, we walked arm in arm and she went on and on about how we need to buy a new dining room table.
And I told them to keep it short and sweet because I'm sick and tired of her going on and on about the dining room table.
I know. Yeah. I just want some peace and quiet sometimes, don't we?
Oh, we absolutely do.
So if you're walking arm in arm with somebody who's close to you, then your arms are linked as you're
Mhm.
walking along. Also hand in hand. You're holding
Hand
each
in
other's hand.
hand, arm in arm.
Yep. Yep.
That's
So
right.
shall we test people?
Big test, right? Are you ready? Right? And we're going to go fast. So we're going to keep it snappy and short and sweet. Are you ready? You ready, Craig?
I'm ready.
Right? I'm going to mix them all up, right? Okay,
Okay.
to make it more difficult. So, peace
Am I
and
am I going to say the answer
you're
or
going to say the answer, but don't give them so long. You gave them longer before. Now we're going to,
okay,
right? So,
shorten it down.
peace and
Quiet,
sick and
tired,
aches and
pains,
loud and
clear,
short and
sweet,
neat and
tidy,
spick and
span,
short and
sweet.
I thought you were going to say fat, but you didn't. I was trying to catch you. Right.
I learned my lesson.
Bright and
Early,
odds and
ends,
step.
by step. No?
No, yeah,
Is
absolutely. But
it?
you had to think, didn't you?
I
They're the
did.
ones that are just
You
repeated.
threw
That
me.
was
You
easy.
threw me. How mean was that? Step by step, little by little.
Face to,
Face,
on and.
on.
Right, that was easy.
Yeah,
Right,
those
now
were
the
easy.
last phase of the test, because I am an examiner, you know. Craig
Yeah,
keeps it easy. I'm testing you now, right?
yeah.
I am going to define the phrase and then see if you can get it right.
But we want them to write it this time in the chat,
Yeah, this
correct?
time see if you can write it. Okay. So when you are very, very thin, you are all. Let's see who gets it first.
Taking a while for you to think. No, not elbow to elbow.
Everybody's talking about a song now. That's
New,
great, but that's
new
okay. In the
kids on the block.
meantime, keep thinking about if you've lost a lot of weight, what are you? But in the meantime, do you know this? Nancy said she heard Step by
New
Step
kids
in a
on the
song of
block.
New Kids on the Block, and she didn't understand the meaning. Have you heard it? I haven't heard
No,
that.
I don't.
Do you
I
know that one?
know One Step Beyond by Madness. That's a song
Hmm.
from the 1980s, but I
Mm.
haven't heard Step by Step.
I think we're too old,
Uh,
Nancy.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
we're the old kids on the block.
With aches and pains, yeah.
Shh, don't. Right, Caroline's got it right. Skin and bones. Skin and
Well
bones.
done, Caroline. You got
Well
it.
done, Caroline. Right, 1 point to Caroline. Here's the
Yeah.
next one then. Okay, when you don't stop and you're boring everybody and you talking and you're talking and you're talking, what are you doing?
Teaching English. You're
On and on.
going
Well
on and on.
done,
Well done, Francisco. 1
Francisco.
point to you.
Fantastic. One
Christine
point
got
to
it as well.
Francisco. Christine too.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Okay.
On and on.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. Right. So you have made a very long journey. It wasn't easy. There were lots of obstacles. Your mother is worried about you. And when you finally you get home and you ring her up, what does your mother say to you? Did you arrive?
Both words begin with S.
There we are.
Yep, Francisco.
Francisco. He's
Safe
on
and
it now.
sound. Very
Safe and
good.
sound. Perfect.
You've
Okay.
got it. Christine as
Right.
well. Well done.
Okay. Right. Now, my daughters, if they're watching, I want to let you know that your rooms are all extremely clean and I'm very happy with you. Your rooms are,
Do you think they're watching?
they might be, they've all left me now. They're not here. So they might be watching me. They might be watching me on Facebook Live just because they miss me. I'm not sure though.
Can you repeat that again, Lynn?
Yeah, okay. So I'm saying, and this is a message going out to my daughters. I'm very pleased with you. You've left your rooms totally. We're getting the answers. Clean and
Yep. Clean
tidy,
and tidy. Clean and tidy.
neat and tidy. But
Neat
what's
and
the other
tidy.
one? What's the other one? The one that goes
Spick. No one's got that one. Yep,
Yes,
Mercedes.
Mercedes.
Well done,
Well done.
Mercedes.
Spick and span.
Fantastic. Well done.
Right.
Well,
Well, I think that's it now. Shall we keep it short and sweet?
let's keep it short and sweet this week. We'll finish there. Just before we say goodbye, we'll remind you who we are and where we're from. My name's Craig from mansioningles.com, where you can study English for free and sign up for the newsletter, which is also free. And there's a podcast every week that's been a bit up and down. There's another fixed expression, up and down. It's been a bit up and down lately because, as I said on the podcast, Rez unfortunately had COVID. He's now recovered. He's fine, but it's been really difficult to get together. So the last few weeks, we've had guests. We've published some older material that we had saved for emergencies. And I really hope that Reza will be back recording from next week. So fingers crossed. So there's the podcast there. And when I do get back from my break where I've enjoyed some peace and quiet, then I will be running another conversation course. So I originally thought the date was going to be the 1st of August. It's not going to be the 1st of August, but it is going to be in August. So if you are interested in studying with me in a small private group of conversational English, go to englishmasterclass.net, put in your email address, and I will send you news as soon as I get back from my well-earned vacation.
Okay. I'm Lynn. I'm from putitlikethis.com. I do online classes And the thing that I specialize in is tailor making the courses. So depending on what your specific need is, if you want to improve fluency, or maybe you want to improve your pronunciation or your writing, or maybe you want to do an exam, depending on that specific need, then I'll create a course just for you, all right, to try to help you reach your objective as efficiently and quickly as possible. I'm going on holiday, so I haven't got any classes in August. But I will be back for classes in September. So if anybody's interested in starting classes with me in September, then they're very welcome to contact me. I'm only going to be teaching for the next 3 classes. And so if you have a very short need, then I could possibly still teach you in the next 3 weeks. Sorry, I beg your pardon, 3 weeks, until the 22nd of July. But then after that, I'm going to have peace and quiet. I'll be getting up bright and early, and I'll be having lots of fun. But hopefully I shall come back safe and sound in September. And
With your
then
batteries recharged for
with my
another
batteries
academic year.
recharged. And then we will be going forward again.
So wherever you are, whatever you're doing over the next month or two, have a good time. Stay healthy, stay safe and sound. Thank you, Gemma. Thank you, Christine, for your well wishes, for your good
Yes.
wishes. Thank you, Caroline, Nancy, and everyone who's with us today. And thanks, Lynn, for joining me. I hope we'll be back to doing this together in September.
Yeah. We'll be looking forward to it. I'll be looking forward to
too.
it.
Okay, until
Okay,
then,
everyone, have a lovely summer, everyone, as
take
well.
care. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.